The views and opinions expressed by the host and our guests do not state or reflect those of the T and MZ show. Boom, boom. Hey, everyone. It's Marzetta. We're out tonight and we got a bunch of friends and lots of things to talk about. We've got an author of a book called The Awareness of Marriage as a Spiritual Tool. We'll be talking to Bennet tonight. Bennet Debia. Did I say it right? Say hello, Bennet. And we've got his better half, Mrs. I call her Victor, but her name is Brandy, one of the top makeup artists in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that has put a lot of faces on a lot of famous people, and we are loving her for that because she can do the thing. Tell us about it.
Hi, everyone. I am Brandy Monet. I am a makeup artist here in the Dallas area, travel makeup artist. I specialize in television and film.
That's right.
That's the avenue that, I'm deciding to go down.
I know. You've been there, boo.
I've been there, done that, and still praying for more.
And it's going to happen.
Definitely going to happen. And I'm so excited that I've been endowed with this gift from the Lord to, have my work seen on the big screens.
All right.
So,
we're looking forward to that.
Yeah. I just finished up a movie. And I can't, give a lot of information about that yet because they're still in production about it. But hopefully, I can be a guest again, and I can give you more information about that movie in the near future.
You're gonna have us all looking real closer to see what if you made any flaws and all that stuff.
I'm so nervous because I'm going to be the same way. I'm definitely going to be the same way.
We also have joining us tonight Jeremy. Jeremy is a friend of a friend, and we're going to be talking about Jeremy. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, as far as I guess how I related to this conversation, at least, William and I just met a couple of weeks ago at the job, and day one, within 20 minutes or so, we'd already started talking about spiritual level things, and in a corporate office setting, it's not something you don't run into that quickly.
Child, I can talk about that all day.
And we jumped into that quickly.
And that's what our topic is going to be about tonight, because as a whole, everybody can see the spirit in the world right now, and it's not always a good one. So we've got some semi-experts here tonight that are going to talk a little bit about one topic I really liked that Ben and I talked about was the difference between intellect and intuition. And it goes deep because the intuition, of course, women are always known to have intuition. And he enlightened me to tell me that it was the spiritual thing. It's our connection with God. What do you say, Ben?
Yeah, that's part of it. Yes, this is where I look at it. Every one of us as humans are given two basic tools to operate in life, and that's the intellect and the intuition. So every individual have it. Intuitively, a woman is created to be more intuitive than a man. Just like, for example, we both have estrogen and testosterone.
Exactly.
But the man has more testosterone than the woman.
Right.
And the woman has more estrogen than the man. Same thing with your intellectual abilities and intuitive abilities. So we both have it. But naturally, the woman is put in such a position, in a vertical position, that she's more intuitively inclined to vertical energy, and the man is intellectually inclined to horizontal energy.
Horizontal
energy.
What do you think about that, Jeremy?
I wouldn't disagree. I think a lot of everything that we're going to deal with, no matter what, is one way or another comes down to perspective and the perception of the individual. And I don't think most people have the awareness that they're even in a place where they can understand that. And
that's
so how they're interpreting certain words or the language or the difference between intellect or intuition, they may have their own idea of what those things mean to them that may not be consistent with what we would think. Or, so.
Well, that can go even further, because even when you have it, for a woman, sometimes she doesn't know that she has it. You can hear that voice, you can get that feeling, but you ignore it.
Right.
So that's where maybe the intellect should come into play. What do you think?
Let me put it this way.
Let me put it this way.
First of all, like, what's your name again? Jeremy made a point there, because everybody grows in different levels in life, okay? So you have to get to a certain point in your life where you begin to understand the things that are not commonly seen with the naked eyes or feel with the body. Mm-hmm. So there's just a lot involved in it. So his idea of some people not understanding it is absolutely right. Now, there's a different, depending on how each person understands it, there's going to be a different definition of what
interpretation. Right.
So you may be looking at the intellectual perception in a different format that I'm looking at it, or Brandy's looking at it, or other person's looking at it. Right. So it all depends on different levels as you grow.
Right.
To understand
most people don't just walk around thinking, I'm intellectual, I've got all this intuition, I got a heavy head, I can't think, most people don't do that. So what are triggers that a person could use in making decisions?
I think the first thing is to define it first, have an understanding about what it means. What's intellect? I mean, intellect is basically something of the physical. It's something within your mind. Yeah. It's a form of energy. Mm-hmm. Your mind creates it. Right. So you're given that ability to be able to see things, look at things in the physical, and be creative with it. Right. And that's why I would say we're co-creators, because of that ability to be able to produce a TV, produce this program. Mm-hmm. So we all have that. Right. Okay. Now, intuitive is something that's a little bit different. Intuitively, you can, let's put it this way. Again, it's all our forms of energy. You may see somebody and the person passing, oh, I love this person. Now, you haven't met them before. It's not because you see them. They're just certain form of energy you feel.
People have said I've got good energy.
Okay, so
they can tell.
Can I say I second that emotion? Yes. With the energy thing that you're saying, I believe that all people are energy. Yeah, I'm so glad you said that.
Okay. No, so now we're coming down to understanding what the definition means. Yeah. So there are all two forms of energy. One is basically a horizontal energy, and one is basically a vertical energy. So that's just what it is.
Now, one more time, can you? Because he used his hands. He was like, a man lays this way and a woman lays that way. They're closer to God. All of this. I was like, wait a minute, you're blowing my mind here.
There's too much details, things that you have to get to understand first before we get to that point. Okay. So that's why it's so difficult for me to describe it. Right. Because it's like in our system where if you're born, first you go to kindergarten. Right. Okay. After kindergarten. Okay. All right. It's elementary not that, things. Yeah. It's not that kindergarten is bad. But you have to understand basic concept before you go to the next level, Absolutely. And if you're willing to search for that, you will find it.
Yes. You agree with that, Jeremy?
Yeah.
If you seek truth in anything and you truly seek it, you will find it. There's no question about it.
Definitely.
If that's actually what your intention is and you put that energy forward, you are going to find what it is you're looking for.
Again, I hear that word energy.
Well, I think one of the big things with energy and understanding, and in my experience at least, we're like Western culture for the most part, from like the religious perspective of it, we've been provided with this. We've been provided with, what everybody's standard understanding of church, religious church organization, that idea. Right. But one thing that most have not come into is understanding how much of that was taken before it got presented to us, and how much of it is still out there that the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD.
Okay, like you just went way over our heads. Okay.
And this is kind of the entry point of where the church actually started as far as what we're thinking of, and it based in the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church. In 325 AD, Constantine, the Emperor of Rome, and the Council of Nicaea was an organized group.
Okay.
At that point, they took all of the collection of scrolls, books, texts, everything that would be considered part of a collection of books, which is exactly what a Bible is. Bible, by definition, is just a collection of books.
So,
which would actually help us grow as a people, as a human being. So a lot of the things we're taking, what Jeremy's saying, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. A lot of the things were taken away from us to show us the way on how to really be prosperous in this lifetime. So, because of that, we lack some knowledge,
because the books are gone.
Because
we don't have everything.
We don't have everything.
But we have enough.
No.
We have the basics.
We have some.
We have the principles.
We have some basics.
We have the basics and the principles.
Can I come in there a little bit?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. What you guys are saying is absolutely right. Okay. But there's also one more thing that we need to all know. And I will come from the point of view where it says the altar of divinity is not in anywhere but inside of you.
Correct.
Okay. So, in spite of the fact that we're being led, you came into this life, you're being led with all the programs that have been set aside for you, whether it's called societal stuff, family plans for you, a religious plan for you. The altar of divinity, or to understand who you are, is still inside of you.
Right.
So until such a time when you leave this idea, when we vacate from the idea of we are not given enough information to understand that the information is within you already, and you start seeking for it.
Right.
And the moment you start seeking for it, then you will see all the avenues that will appear in front of you,
right,
in order to get it.
And I agree, and that's where it actually ties back, is all of the books at that time, there were over 100 that they had taken in that collection.
Yep.
From the original followers of Jesus. And that's where they took
If you want to take it to religion, though.
Well, it's not about religion, though. That's where
if you want to take
separates.
it to a higher being, those books were written to give us instructions on how to live our lives, right? To live comfortably and.
Well, the ones that they gave us, the ones that you got.
So what do you think is in the other books?
Well, we have them. So the truth of it is that, and anybody that wants to see them, they're here. They came up out of the earth. The Dead Sea Scrolls, the Nag Hammadi Library, that's where the collection of all of these scrolls came up out of the Dead Sea when they found these collections. So these texts are now, they're available to us now, but they were hidden for 1700 years.
So I take it that you have seen some of them. And so what's the difference between what's in them and what we have now?
Well, the ones that are missing that we do have now, actually, those are the ones that lead to the understanding of what he's saying, that you don't need all of this because it actually is within you.
Okay.
The kingdom of heaven is within you and around you.
Okay, so that comes to one little thing that you have to understand. Just hear me out. A mind that is open to all and attached to nothing. It's been a code that's been given by many people.
One more time.
A mind that is open to all and attached to nothing. Now, when you're living your life and you begin to attach yourself to a specific thing, a specific society, a specific religion, it guides you to stay within that scope without stepping out. Now, what he's saying is, if you step out, you can see more.
And that's what you said that night.
You can understand more. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's stepping out, he's seeing more, and that's why he's talking about what he has seen. But yet, if you don't have a mind that is open to all and attached to nothing, you cannot get it. Mm-hmm. Now, when you're getting something,
so that's why you continue to be led.
You're not. Yeah, you get okay. You're not getting it because you have to believe or you have to accept it. You're getting it to have understanding. And that's what he just made.
And that's what you're asking for, understanding.
That's just go out there. So why should you allow some program or something to stop you for just getting something. Just get it. Read it, understand, just because, like I said in the beginning, the altar of divinity is inside you. If you start reading those things, all of a sudden your intuition will start working more, and more things will be explained to you, and more understanding will come to life. And just that's the way it works.
And you can kind of look at it the same as a parallel as, if you're coming from the perspective, if there's, call it creator, and just leave it as that. If the creator put all of these things within, then you have the ability to communicate through the system within. And if you're doing that,
makes a lot of sense.
If you're doing that, you're tuning in to the intuitive side of you that is in tune with the creator.
Watch your side. See the way it's pointing up?
Yeah, exactly.
The vertical energy. You connect to it.
Vertical, exactly.
Okay. So I can use different forms. We may be saying certain things the same, but we're saying it in a different format.
Exactly.
But guess what? You see the way it's pointing up?
Exactly.
You're connecting to the vertical energy,
Right.
because you have that ability to connect to it. So sometimes we leave it to other people to show us and teach us so that we can
Being
follow
lazy,
them.
right.
Okay. Instead of us to go deep down and do exactly what he's trying to explain.
Okay, so for both of y'all got all of this knowledge and all of this.
I don't have it.
Yeah, you do.
I don't have.
I'll say intellect and
Intellect's a good word.
yeah, intellect. How does it transform your life? How does it affect your life? What difference does it make in your life, in your decision making, and how you treat people and how you see things and everything that you see going on now?
If I may come in there, before I answer that question, first of all, I don't consider myself as being intellectual.
Right.
I'm trying to subdue that as much as possible.
Yes. Yep.
Really? I can tell
agree.
you're very humble, Ben.
No,
You're very humble.
You can be intellectual to work in big companies, to do all those things. Those are good, okay? But at the same time, if you really want to live within, then you have to kind of taper down your intellectual ability to explore everything. And then that's when you start going inside and you start working intuitively. And in that sense, your life will begin to change in different forms.
Right.
You begin to not judge, but to understand. So when you're going out to do something or you see certain things, you're looking at the situation, every situation that you encounter, you are looking at it to understand it, not to judge it, but intellectually.
That was the point he made that night.
Okay.
That's phenomenal, because everyone judges, whether they're in a religion or whether they make more money than the next person or they wear better clothes. Everyone judges, and to not do that, it takes effort sometimes on people's part. But if we have this vertical,
once you get, you ask me the question of how does that change your life. The changing of life is you begin to discern which is of the physical, which is of within.
Yes.
Your perception shifts.
Yeah.
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes
in the world. The only thing that ever changes is your perspective of it.
That's right. You begin to look at it in a different format.
okay, that makes
So
sense.
if you're driving on the road, somebody cut off on you, okay, you don't go getting angry about it. You can try to view it as maybe he's running into something. Maybe I know she wants me to speak very close. So
That's what she's doing. Okay, I'm like, what a woman.
Yeah. So that's you begin to reason from their own perception to understand why they cut you off, and you begin to offer some reasons or something. Not that you accept it, not that you think it's something good or bad. So there's no really good or bad anymore, but to have an understanding. And for that reason, you won't start to chase back or do anything to respond in the negative way, because in life, it's always about action and reaction.
That's true.
And when you value your actions and reaction, that's a yardstick there for you to know if you're growing intellectually or intuitively. Yeah. You can monitor yourself. You can.
Now,
You can also think of it as if you find yourself reacting, then it's likely that you're relying on your intellect, which is your understanding based on what your life has brought you.
And not thinking about the other person.
Not taking it from, if you looked at it from a different perspective and made it
not about yourself.
About you.
Exactly.
The first thought that you could, if you're basically, you're trying to use the mind of the Creator
Vertical.
that you can be tuned to and get your wisdom and guidance from that rather than trying to apply your own wisdom, because
But
that's
how
when you
does
bring
that-
your ego
again, how does
applies.
that affect your everyday dealing with everything? Because
It's-
everybody else ain't on y'all's level.
Well, nobody has to. Everybody's on the level that they choose to be on.
That's right.
That's
That's
true.
right.
Everybody
but when
has the
you're
choice.
dealing with situations that, like you were saying, may make you go to the left or to the right, how do you, at that point, make the decision to
What
Deal
is-
with it.
If
Go
the
ahead.
driver scenarios, the driver cuts you off,
right?
and our normal reaction to that, if we're going to react, we're probably going to get angry, like you said. We're going to maybe tailgate them, chase them, run them down. That's if you're reacting, which may come from the intellect. But
Okay.
if you respond, a response comes from a thought that's within. That's something that's deeper than our physical reaction system.
Correct.
So at that point, your perception is different. So instead of just seeing it for what it occurred, your first thought might be, well, that driver might have just got a phone call and their mom died.
Right.
And they
So always
just,
thinking about the other person.
that will
is from
always
the-
change your perspective.
But that is from the scriptures that we already have.
Well, those scriptures,
Okay,
That is from the scriptures.
Okay. Can I come into that? The scripture is there to offer you the same message right now that we're offering, right? It's there. But the question is, how many people are understanding it
and using it.
and using it?
Very few.
Okay, so
It's there, but people don't. They interpret it differently,
Different,
and they
okay.
and they use it differently.
That's correct. So just because, just to bring to life about that question, there are three things there. One, our experiences, you are meant to be aware of it.
That's what makes a person.
No, you're meant to be aware of it. You're being aware of something doesn't mean that you're practicing it.
True.
Okay? So yes, the scripture is there. You read it.
Right.
Okay, you read it, but you don't understand it. But you are aware of it.
Right.
Until you become awakened by what you read or by that thing that you see, then
it makes a difference.
It begins to be part of you. Now, the moment you start to practice it, now you abide into it. So it's either awareness, awakening, and abiding. So it's a stage that you
So
have to go.
it's still the fact that everyone has a choice.
Yeah,
They have a choice whether or not they want to live the right way or the wrong way.
There's no right way or wrong way.
Okay, that's a difference.
I don't know if you agree with me on that,
There-
but there's really no, the state of this.
It requires judgment in order to
do that.
To actually find that.
Okay, see that.
You can't find a fault in someone else without judging.
Yeah.
And if you're judging, then you can't. Well, I mean, I guess even if you're not even looking at not from a religious perspective,
Right.
just as humans, regardless of what you may find in Scripture, everybody's pretty much going to agree in some way or another that loving your neighbor or showing love to your neighbor is probably one of the most common things that we're supposed to do.
Right.
So the bottom line is you can't show love to someone and judge them at the same time.
No,
It's
you
impossible.
can't. It's impossible.
So as
So
long
we
as
do that
we're
every day.
judging, we can't be showing
I'll
love.
take that back though. Some people can. They can put on a fake personality.
But that's not them.
It's a fake personality.
But
Then it's
again,
not real.
A fake personality.
But it's not true.
It's not
There's no
real.
truth in
No,
it.
it's not. But they're doing that to deal with whatever it is that they're having put in front of them.
It's a mask.
Yeah.
hiding.
It's a mask.
How many people do that?
Too many.
We do it every day.
But
But
it's
the
a
point
choice.
is that when you say it that way, it's an encouragement to say, hey, we do that every day. The point is that, yes, we have three ways that we exhibit our personality, okay? Either by thought, okay, or by your
Wait a
action.
minute. What did you say? We have 3 ways to what?
Three ways that we can express ourselves, or that we
Okay,
exhibit.
okay.
So what you're saying is that the thought is there. First is the thought, then your action and your speech.
Again, the Bible.
Okay. Now, you see again. Now, nobody here have ever said what is written in the Bible is wrong
No.
or whatever. Okay, we're trying to have understanding. Even the Bible that when Christ said, when they slap you on this and turn the other, it's written there. How many people do?
How many people do it?
No.
You see what I'm
Not
saying?
many,
So
yeah.
you say, oh,
Always
it's in
a
the
choice.
Bible.
Yeah.
It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
So sometimes
Okay.
we say it's in the Bible, but we're not really
But not
practicing
practicing.
it.
Yeah.
See, that's the issue.
Yeah.
So when you talk to some people and you say Bible, and then we say yes, it's in the Bible, but you're not. Everything that we talk about is written.
Yeah.
It's written there. So, but how many people practice? So the bottom line is that until you begin to, even though you're aware of it, you have to get to a point where you are awakened by that experience.
Right.
And after that, you begin to abide to it. That's just what it is.
So I have a question.
Right.
And it's dealing with, you guys have been talking about choice, the ability of having choice, and coming from a dummy standpoint, because this is
Ain't no
really
dummies in this
high.
room.
This is really high intellectual. Coming from a dummy standpoint, right? What are your recommendations as to what an individual can do to be more, to tap more into their intellect?
Vertical.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, how can I take, this conversation and implement it into my everyday life?
That's what I was trying to get them to tell me.
You know what I'm saying?
How do
Because
you work
the thing
with it
about
every
is,
day?
like, if I dig back into my background, Marzetta, me and you used to work together, fresh out of college, great job, hungry for success, hungry for money.
Yep.
It was difficult. It was difficult because at that time I was being molded by corporate America and senior management and people who said they cared about,
you
my
see the light now.
desires. But at the time I did not see the light.
I know.
So when it comes to choice, what could I have done differently? Because I became, it affected my mental health. Yes, I was going to church every day. I was reading my Bible every day. But at the end of the day, I was implementing what I was being taught, at church.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it still was, I'm human, so I was still reacting to certain things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, Ben and I talk about a lot about the ego. Right. And
Ooh, that's a
babe,
big
can you
thing.
talk about that a little bit? Like
Yeah.
the ego, and then when it comes to
We
choice.
already have been.
Yeah, we've been talking.
I said from a dummy standpoint, didn't I? I did say that, didn't I?
So the bottom line is this.
I'm sorry. Does that make sense? What I'm talking
Everything that you
about?
said made sense. Right? But the key thing that, as we listen to you, the key thing there is this. You say you've been molded. So there's a group, a society, a religion, your corporate America are molding you in certain concept. And all this concept is built by your collective intellectual abilities. So they create something out of and they say this is how it's supposed to be. Until you get to a point where you understand where you are, it's all everything's on intellectual
Because you
level.
talked about, the Bible say, talk about turn the other cheek. Now, sometimes I didn't
She
turn that
ain't
other
turning
cheek.
her cheek.
No, I did not. No, I did not, and I reacted.
And she will not.
I reacted. Yes, I did.
But I also believe that even though you say you were being molded and all of these things were transpiring in your life at that time, I'm a true believer that everything that happened to us in our life is a path that leads us to where we are now.
That's
Everything that happened to us made us stronger, vital to who we are now.
But the thing about
We
it is,
needed it.
I
Somebody
think
else knew we needed it.
because I said the key. I was young, and a lot of that comes with spiritual maturity.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? At the time, I didn't know about awakening and intellect and all that.
This is all new to me,
now
too.
that I am,
This is new to me.
Now that I've been around, the sun a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? And experienced some things, and has my perception of certain aspects of life has changed. Now I have that spiritual
But
maturity.
doesn't it make more sense to you the way it is now?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Because what we see now in organized, I'm going to use the word religion, is that sometimes it leads you down the wrong path because you become a member of a group and you're expected to conform to what they believe in. But when you have that one-on-one, because that's where it comes from.
Yeah, because it's my grandmother used to say this all the time. You have to know it for yourself.
Exactly.
And then once you know it for yourself, you got to know that you know that you know that you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? So
Nothing comes without belief.
nothing comes without
Without
belief.
belief.
You know what I'm saying? And until you have that individual relationship
And it takes going through all those hurdles to get there.
Yes, that
Yeah.
doesn't come easy because,
No.
you know, how do you know it for yourself? How do a
But
person
that's
know it
the
for
other
themselves?
question. How do we know that we're right? How do you
It's
know
not
that
about- it's not being right.
How do you know that what you're saying about having that individual relationship with that spiritual being is right versus a group? Because he's always had a group of people, the Israelites.
One of the ways
The different ones.
One of the ways that you can know that you're on the path of doing something in a good format is when whatever your actions or reactions, okay, benefits one and all.
If everything you do has consideration first for all of the people around, that what you're going to take in an action is not going to negatively affect anyone else, then you can take that action.
I have something to add to that. I wanted to, if you can take that action and you're always trying to please everyone around you.
It's not about
No,
pleasing.
Wait.
you're not trying to.
It's about
see, you're
not-
using the right word.
Y'all both
harming.
said it at the same
Not
time. Wait a
harming.
minute, hold up.
It's about not no harm,
Non-judgmental.
no judgment, no harm.
No
so
harms.
the action you take
You're not
doesn't
pleasing someone.
adversely affect anyone else.
Okay, I'll take that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and finish our discussion with these experts we have on the panel tonight.